Natural selection operating at the smallest scale actually produces social pathologies. The suffering that we inflict on each other is actually a product of evolution operating at this small scale. So you might say that's the bad news. The good news is that if we go up a little bit and we look at natural selection of groups doing better than other groups, then we find evolution favoring cooperation, altruism in all of its forms, at least within members of those groups, And so what we have now is we have a theory that can explain the evolution of goodness, and we can explain its limitations, how goodness evolves, but also the other evolutionary forces that are pushing back. So we have a theory that can explain both the existence of goodness and the limitations to its spread. And life consists not only of two tiers, individuals within groups, but it consists of groups within groups within groups, multiple tiers, and that logic is the same at every rung of this hierarchy. So in familiar terms, what's good for me can be bad for my family. What's good for my family can be bad for my clan. What's good for my clan can be bad for my nation. What's good for my nation can be bad for the world.
As social animal, individuals' survival depend on rest of the community. So community is the basis of your happy life and a successful life. So self-centered, selfish, me, is unrealistic. And the reality also, think just oneself. And then I think roughly speaking, all phenomena then appears something negative. Practice altruism, then whole phenomena appears something positive.
Mm-hmm.
So mental attitude really makes differences.
Yes. I want to reinforce that and also to amend it a little bit. And I think that this is especially true, the need to be inside a cooperative community is especially true at the small scale, which is like a tribal scale of a small group. The natural human social environment is to be in the bosom of a nurturing, cooperative group. And it's there where we are physiologically and mentally the best. I think that actually there's a strong case to be made. But here's the exception. All groups, including those groups, are vulnerable to the wolves of selfishness. If everyone is being so nice to each other and they might be getting the physiological effects, it is still the case that an individual who is not that way is going to come into that group, and it'll be easy pickings. And those individuals will exist. And so unless altruism can protect itself from the wolves of selfishness, then the wolves of selfishness will come. And of course, we see them all around us at all scales. So we have to do something about the selfishness problem, and counseling people to be altruistic and telling them that they will, then I think that's not enough. There has to be tougher mechanisms in order to keep the wolves of selfishness at bay.
Warm-heartedness, not blind, combined with intelligence. So judge. In
fact, in the Buddhist tradition, one of the precepts of a bodhisattva, these are advanced practitioners who actually explicitly avow to take altruism as their fundamental, kind of a guiding principle. One of the precepts is that when appropriate, if you don't stand firm and counter injustice, it's actually you are violating one of the precepts.
Yeah.
So there's a fierce compassion there.
I think that's so important for that to be part of the conversation.